Hey, what up, though? I had to do that because we're in Detroit. We're here for another episode of Dapper Conversations. I'm your host, NeAndre Broussard, here with Black Menswear. Really excited about today's guest here in the Motor City. We're gonna be talking about taking that next step, going from one place to another and breaking through barriers. Now to do that, I got three very, very dapper young gentlemen here with me today. First guy to my left, I have politician, but more so activist, my guy JEWELL Jones. Next to him, we got my brother, Lédon, Tastemaker, entrepreneur here in Detroit. And then we got my guy, SHAWN Blanchard there on the end. SHAWN T Blanchard, excuse me, don't forget the T. SHAWN T Blanchard, author, motivational speaker, mentor. Appreciate you brothers here with me today for Black Menswear Dapper Conversations. I always gotta open up to ask the question about Detroit, right? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start with you first, JEWELL. One, how long you been in Detroit? Two, how long you been knowing about this movement we got called Black Menswear?
Yeah, you know what, brother, and I just want to say welcome to the city. We definitely are happy to have you here. I'll let these brothers talk about Detroit.
That's right. I'm sorry,
Inkster through and through. I grew up in the city, on the east side and the west side, so I've been all over. And I mean, Detroit has always been known for being Detroit. I mean, it's so much of stuff here when you talk about the culture, the soul, the heart of especially Black communities, you know? Yeah. And then, you know, in regards to y'all movement, I guess it's been a couple years now. And it's been something I love to see because you all are changing the image and the perception of Black males in the community. Just even the image of Black man in suits, in a mob of suits, you know. It just changing that whole idea that people say, you know, we sag and we in the hood in the streets doing X, Y, and Z. You all changing the whole narrative. So you know, I can rock with that for sure.
Love.
Yeah, man. Detroit, man, welcome,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Black Menswear, welcome. Detroit is just it's a city of culture and I guess soul, right? Because music, you know, when you think about Detroit,
right.
music came from here.
Right.
Motown, the automotive industry is definitely something that we pride ourselves on. You know, like this weekend is the Dream Cruise. You know,
Right.
So, but I've been in Detroit like half of my life, really. And Detroit it taught me how to hustle, how to be brave. Like I always tell people, if you can make it in Detroit, you can make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. Really, mm-hmm. Literally, I've never seen anybody that came in Detroit and it didn't change their perspective on life or really like just who they were as a person. So Detroit is really, we breed Detroit, and no matter where you're from, like anywhere out of the country, like this is a different country itself. Mm-hmm. Like we don't fold, we don't really stay down. We fight against all odds. So that's how I think about Detroit.
Now what about when you and I tapped in, or when you tapped into Black Menswear? When was that?
Man, 2018? Yeah, 2018, man. Like I love what Black Menswear is doing, man. But just because, like with just men in general, that empowerment, we need that. Mm-hmm. We don't have that. Mm-hmm. Like I told you, the difference I see between men and women is that men are not supported, women are not protected. How can we protect them if we don't know how to even support? So it comes down to we need to support each other. We need to be a brother again. Yeah. Because we lost that. And they have empowerment events. We don't empower ourselves. So that's why they're so advanced when it comes down to business, because they talk amongst each other, mm-hmm. and we don't talk enough. So that's the thing, man. Like just talking to you and seeing the vision and then seeing where it is today, it's definitely as you watch my growth, I've watched yours. Nice. So iron sharpens iron. Like I always say, we mirror each other. So
absolutely. I'm
proud of Black Menswear. I'm proud of the movement. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm honored to be here with you, with this, you know, powerful men, and let's do it.
Love, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. What up, though?
What up?
You know, we in the city, we in the D, so get to share the stage
the other
right here
D,
with the
you
good
know,
brothers.
I'm from Dallas, so
here we go.
That's,
we're gonna talk about this today.
Okay. You know, well, I would say we in the D closer to the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? So we here with we in the D that say what up though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So,
for sure.
But let's talk about Detroit. I'll say three things, man. I'll say Detroit is culture for one. It's a whole lot of cultural depth in Detroit from the Motown eras, from Ford Motor Company and cars, the big three, all that types of stuff like that. But then I would say perseverance. So if you know about anybody from Detroit, it's always this persevering story of how they've gone from here to there, started from the bottom, now I'm here, over and over and over. Of course, we all had these stories ourselves, man, but Detroit, I feel like it has so much color and context to those stories. And number three, I'll say, home of the hustlers, man. Detroit has a culturally rich, persevering hustler. Yeah. And the thing is, in Detroit, I mean, the way I was raised in more of a drug family. So it was like seeing drug dealers hustling drugs, or my mom's a professional shoplifter, she's hustling clothes, or whatever it was. Somebody was always hustling something, right? And there was those early exposures to seeing people being able to be entrepreneurs before the term entrepreneur was cool, with a certain product, whether it was legal or illegal. It was just this culturally rich, persevering hustler over and over and over, man. Yeah. And so that's Detroit to me. And I'll say that I love Black menswear. I've been aware of it for a number of years, man. And salute, man, because you guys have shouted me out a few times. For sure. You know, I've been on some of those images when they'll say, like, is this dope, hot, not, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
Feel it or kill it. We gonna
feel it, kill it, you know what I'm saying? So, so it's I would always see this, like, this whole concept and this movement is ridiculous, right? So with this movement, when I see Black men that are out there in suits making it happen, it gives me the feel of like the 1920s, right? It kind of gives me a present day 100 years ago. It makes me think of like Harlem Nights, like the roaring 20s, but we in the 2020s. Yeah. So it's like a new age and way of doing it, right? So I think about it like that. And like my brothers just talked about changing the narrative, I say that's exactly what it is, but I want to talk about what it really is. It's not necessarily changing the narrative, because that's what it's doing for those people who don't know and have like some ill information about what Black men are. But what it's really doing is exposing the narrative, right? Because we're not changing the way we are. We're just showing you the way we are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because people have us confused a lot. And so let's go ahead and get the story straight when it comes down to Black men, who we are, what we do, and how we make things happen.
I love that lens of it, right? That view of it. Of, you know, we were having a conversation before we got on camera, where we were talking about, you have to realize that there are over 100,000 Black millionaires. Yeah. 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 You know, 100,000 is not a few people. Yeah. That's a lot of people, right? But from the media perception of who we are, they're not showcasing that. Right. What we want to do is showcase that. Right. We want to showcase people that are in politics and making change, systemic change. Right. Right. Yeah. We want to showcase entrepreneurs that are in places that haven't been accustomed to us before. Yeah. And you got storefronts in areas that we don't even come shop in these areas a lot of times, right? Yeah. We're not welcomed, right? And you got a brother that's an author and teaching people how to write their own books. Right. Motivational speaker and mentor. You need a mentor, tap into me. How can I help you build and grow? Yeah. Like those are stories that aren't being told. Yeah. And to your point, all we want to do is show that. Absolutely. That's all we want to do. All we want to do is showcase the positivity, because like you say, it's not new to us. Correct. Now granted, for a lot of us, it might not have been attainable. Because like you said, we might not have seen people that we knew, but it's like, oh, I seen so-and-so at the church with a suit on. Oh yeah, man. You know, unfortunately I've seen so-and-so go to court with a suit on. Yeah. Right? Or the funeral. Or a funeral with a suit on. Yeah. So like we have those connotations of suits, but it's like, that's also what a businessman wear to go to the CEO, to the boardroom. Yeah. We talk about Detroit and down in Motor City. They going downtown to these meetings at the GM building. Yeah. They going in with a suit. They going to close them $1 million deals. And we just like to showcase that there are other views of our culture, of brothers just doing things that might, you know, kind of rock their attire this way, and ain't nothing wrong with them. We had this whole, I'm not gonna go down a rabbit hole, right? You know, we had this whole conversation with people on the internet about what our movement is doing. Right. Their perspective, our perspective, right? And it comes back down to like breaking these barriers. Yeah. Right. The context of our conversation today, breaking barriers and breaking through. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna start here again with you, Jay. and we talk about breaking barriers and getting into politics, right? At a young age, you still in college. Right? When that happened, you were still in college, right? And taking on that load, what made you decide to break through that arena and become, again, I like to hit on this, the youngest in the state elected, in that position? What made you decide to go that route?
But brother, I was just task oriented, and coupled with that, I knew these brothers from a distance when I was first getting started too. So at a young age, I was always inspired by people that I could see, people that I knew were doing different things, and I'm glad over the course of the years we got a chance to develop different relationships. And seeing that, and then how I grew up, the parents wanted us to do different things, and a lot of stuff was. It was not necessarily rewarded; it was really expected. To get the 4.0s, to win the races and the football games and all these different things. So when the opportunity came for me to run for office, and people started coming to tell me, hey, you should do this, you should think about this. I was a sophomore in college. I was like, that'd be pretty dope. Maybe we can do something. It's not a lot of people like me that were involved in that. I didn't look around and see other young black folks in those kind of positions. And so it was just an opportunity for us to at least get into the door. And we had a wonderful opportunity to get into the door, just because of relationship building. I tell people all the time, I always wanted to be a spy back in the day. And so it's crazy how, life can suddenly change and put you on a different track. But if you're willing to, say yes to the opportunity, so much can change, not only for yourself, but for the people around you. And so, it started off by being task oriented and just being willing to listen to other people, take that advice and run with it.
Now, I love that, you also allow people to feed into you, right? That's one thing that I love about brotherhood, about being black men, iron sharpens iron. When you allow people to feed into you, the right people feeding the right things into you, right? It helps to kind of mold and cultivate you, and kind of helps your trajectory and pushes you forward in other different ways. I would say, because I have had conversations about, one, how you landed here, right? Not saying, and this isn't your only location, right? Saying you got multiple locations, a thriving business. I would love to talk about from an entrepreneurship perspective, right? One, what decided to make you break through this barrier and get this particular location, right? That don't come open often, as we talked about. It's difficult to get over here. But then two, when it comes to entrepreneurs, a lot of younger entrepreneurs, they like e-commerce. But you took the route of storefront, right? What drove you to take that approach to business and to continue to thrive in an entrepreneurship mindset?
I capitalize on what people overlook. So that's always been my, whatever you don't like, I like it. So whatever you think is a risk, it excites me. So that's always been, these guys have known me for a while. They've seen me do like a lot of things that like people around my age, my demographic wouldn't really go for.
Right.
I go for whatever is not popular, whatever like is trash to you is treasure to me. That's really how I've always been. So literally like walking in Royal Oak is something that we do a lot. We might not come here often, but sometimes when we want to have a business meeting or just chill out or have a nice time with the family or something, like we come out to Royal Oak, we shop, or we go have brunch, or we go eat, go grab something to eat, go grab lunch, with our guy or with a lady friend or whatever the case may be. So I was grabbing lunch with one of my boys talking about the next play. We're in a pandemic. We don't know what to do. The world is changing as we can see it. And walking back to my car, I see the spot. It's closed. I can't see anything inside, but I see a leasing office, and it's a leasing sign, and I make the call. He says I could be here in an hour. I go to sleep in my car, wake up, meet him up here. It was trash when I came in here. Not really more so. It just was so different from what I wanted to do. This used to be an antique shop. So with that being said, an antique shop, what can I do in an antique shop where I want to sell a clothing business? I want to sell sneakers. I want to sell, how can I turn this around in 30 days? So I turned this around in 45 days, actually. So with that being said, I had the vision already. I saw it, but I just had to work and bring it to life. So I didn't really post or make an announcement till my sign was up. Like I was already doing it because every day that I came in here since I signed this in 6 hours. I got the building done. I gave him the deposit, all that stuff, got my keys, and I was able to be open in like by September 26th. So regardless, I knew the vision, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that this was it. Like if the world is slowing down, like what can you do? I just have to catch up.
Yeah.
This is my time to catch up because before me, she was here for 10 years. She didn't plan on leaving. It's just that during the pandemic, antique business got slow.
Right.
That's not what people were shopping for.
Right.
The people were buying less. The real estate business got better, but at that time, it was steady. So people weren't shopping for antiques to decorate their home during the pandemic. So like the business wasn't really moving as fast, and you still have to pay that overhead cost.
Right.
And nobody wants to pay that. Like you say, e-commerce. Like nobody wants to pay that. Everybody. It's easy to like sell your clothes online. Now the main thing is I want to make sure that my business can survive outside of social media. I'm competing with the Nordstroms, with the Saks, because Saks and Nordstrom, they don't post on social media every day. But they're guaranteed that somebody's gonna walk in there every day, and that's a guarantee. So with me, I wanna reach out to people that I cannot reach, people that don't look like us. Because what happens now is when we can't support because the black dollar has to circulate around, not just because we don't want to, I want to also make sure that other demographics and other people can support as well. And it all comes by you introducing yourself and reintroducing yourself. That's it. It's not, don't just market to black businesses or black people. Stretch out. Because what happens is when black people are not able to support you, not because they can't, because they've supported you already. They want to go to the next business and support the next business. Right. You want to make sure that you can keep yourself busy by marketing yourself to different demographics, so they can also, that's how you expand. That's expansion.
Right.
So that's really when I look at entrepreneurship, like he said, back in the day, I've been in business 11 years. So that means I got an LLC when it wasn't even cool to get one. You know, when I got my LLC, I was seen as unemployed. Because it was hard for you to even go get a car with an LLC. So it comes down to, but I'm glad that I had an LLC when these guys, had their LLC, because I learned how to market my business outside of social media before social media was established. The legwork is so important. Right. It's so important. Like he writes a book, he does the legwork, he does the tour. Like it's important. You have to. I still carry clothes in my duffel bag. Like, because people stop you everywhere. Oh, you have a business? Do you have some clothes on you? Yeah, I do. I sure do. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because once you get comfortable, that's when you lose it. Because it's just like an artist. You don't have your music in the USB when you travel. You don't have something to show.
The CDs.
Like, I can't travel to Atlanta. Yeah, I can't travel to Atlanta without merch. Right. If I come to Inkster to see this guy, and he's with a group of people, he's gonna be telling people, introducing me, right? Guess what? They want to see something. He's done his job, which is making it easy for me to sell. Right. When you don't have a product to sell, that's on you. Right. You knew you were coming to see him. You knew that he most likely will be with some people. It's like coming to the cookout with no merch. You gotta always come to the cookout with merch, right? Because some uncle want to know what you do. He want to support black businesses. You have to. It's just 101. Always have your product. Like sometimes, if your stuff is e-commerce, you can give them a card, but sometimes like you gotta have the product, especially when it comes down to clothing. Clothing business, you gotta always have it.
I love that the vision was already there. Now you got to do the work. And one way that you did the work, again, obviously carrying the product with you consistently, but having a place that people can go to know, I need to go pick up, boom, I'm gonna run right to the location real quick. I ain't gotta wait 3 days to get that. Because
while I was getting this place fixed up, I was also selling merch.
For sure.
My online business was still moving. The ones I have physical, so people were coming to the store while I was fixing it up and purchasing and buying, because all these expenses, I have to pay for them. Right. So because you can't stop selling. That's what you can't say, I'm just fixing up, I'm just fixing up the business, so now I got to stop my online sales. No, you have to keep going.
Now, Now I'm gonna ask you, Sean, right? So again, we talked about, and you did a great segue with it, you can't stop selling, right? So one thing that I love about your business is one thing that you don't stop doing is selling, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you have your products, and then you teach other people how to successfully push their products.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that model of education too, I love that you're breaking it down for people in a granular level to understand you can be successful too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We talk about breaking these barriers, helping people break through their own success now that you've attained yours or are
Yeah.
still working. You know, like I said, we always still working towards our success. We never really attain it.
Right.
We're always still working towards it. What made you kind of decide once you reached a certain level to where, you know what, I know this stuff, I can now pass this on to somebody else and help other people break barriers?
Yeah, you know what, man? So I will even say this one first. I never even, the whole concept of being an author is something I never even thought I would do. From being a kid, starting to sell drugs at a very young age, like 11, and seeing my people around me, there was always Benzes and Escalades and everything else outside of my home. And so I always grew up with Gucci's, and I got on Gucci's now, right? So it's just like, that's always been a thing for me, right? And so, but I was in the hood, right? So money has never been this thing. So I majored in math. I had nothing to do with English, right? So I got a bachelor's in math. I got a master's in math, right? But one thing I became was a teacher, right? So I started out teaching, and teaching is something I do. I was always in front of people speaking and teaching. And so what happened was I messed around, adopted a kid, changed his life. And when I did that, the news put me on in a newspaper, and they also put me on TV. A publishing company called me and asked me, hey, we saw your story. We'd love for you to write a book. I'm like, man, I'm a math guy. They're like, we'll give you $20,000. I say, hey,
I'm a writer.
I'm now an English guy. You know what I'm saying? So then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do, right? So at that point, I'm like, man, I got to get this book up out of me, right?
Yeah, right.
So I get this book out of me. And literally because I'm a math guy, I didn't even write the book, I spoke it. Did it in 10 sessions, boom. And doing that, I teach people how to do that. Look, get your book done, 10 sessions, 10 days, you can have it done. And it's a matter of knowing that what I did was, once I put the book out, I was already making 6 figures. I had a government position, Director of Youth Services, working with President Barack Obama, teaching math at the University of Michigan, and even had a fitness company at the time. And so it's a matter of like, I had a lot of things going on, and I said, you know what, I want to make impact like on my own and not just like for someone else's agenda. Shout out to the mayor of Detroit. It was dope being a director in the mayor's office, but I wanted to have that impact on my own. I want to walk into a room and not say, hello, I'm Shawn Blanchard, Director of Youth Services. Oh, Director of Youth Services. Man, I don't really like that. I want to walk in a room and say, hello, I'm Shawn T. Blanchard. Oh, I need you to stop right there.
Right.
I need you to get excited right there with the government.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The government name, not the government position, right? So with that, man, I did the book. I left my 6-figure job. My first year, I ran laps around my 6-figure salary with my book and speaking. And the interesting thing was, man, I started to notice a few things. The book enabled my speaking fee to go from $5,000 to $25,000. And so for an hour, right? And so I said, wow, like this is some magic here. So as I'm doing it, to get to your point, as I'm doing it, I'm on tour, and I'm like, you know what? What am I gonna do when this tour is over? Like, I'm gonna keep selling this book, like, do I just do another tour? Like, what do I do? I saw a friend of mine, and she was like, she was teaching a class online. And when she was teaching a class online, her first launch, she made $3,000. The next month, she had another launch, she did $9,000. The next month, she had another launch, she did $27,000. I said, I said, hold on. You know what I'm saying?
Exponential growth.
I said, wait a minute. I say, man, like, and she was literally helping people, which is a sweet spot for me too.
Yeah.
So I said, man, I got to teach something. I've been teaching for years, but I've been getting paid like regular teacher pay.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to get paid what you getting paid, right? So she said, you know what, Shawn? Sell what you do well. Ooh, that's a bar.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And so now, like, what do I do well? What people always ask me about. At the time, they was asking me about 2 things, books, speaking. So I created the publishing company. And then after I created the publishing company, because people always they say, let me pick your brain. Anytime somebody say they want to pick your brain, that's the cue for you to pick their pocket. right?
Yeah.
So now the thing was, okay, they always wanted to pick my brain about books and speaking, so I needed to have a solution for their problem, right? So I created the publishing company. Ticket was too high for some people. So I opened the online school, the DIY, the do-it-yourself. And then in doing that, I was able to make sure I could help tons of people through the process. And even throughout the pandemic, I helped over 300 people put a book out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you get to the point where it's like, oh, wow, like, okay, you're not just an author yourself, but you're a publisher and you're mentoring people through the process. And then it gets to the point where it's like understanding like what books really do. You impact their lives, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's like information that's changing people's situation, period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when you're able to do that, it's like, wow, like, you know, coming from a math guy perspective, like solving problems is what I do, but now being able to have all these different people solve problems with their story, message, or expertise is a game changer.
Right.
It's all about impact and income. So now what I was able to do is not only have it to the books, but being able to take it to the point where doing it in an interesting way. I teach people how to have an automated book business to where you could purchase one book, mess around and spend $500 when you just came from one book because you're going to purchase way more value from me than just one book alone. Case in point, like, you know, and when people do that, when they understand this business, it's not just about having an asset and just like, that takes money that you got to invest in, that you got to wait for.
Yeah.
It's a different asset classes that you got to jump into. You got regular assets that are like investments that we know about, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You got to have money to do that. But there's two other investment classes. One is the created asset. I could create a book. Now this is an asset. Bam. This baby is putting money in my pocket and it can do it while it's asleep too.
Yeah.
Bam. Then the next one is be an asset. So you want to have the purchase asset, create an asset, and be an asset. All three of those can put money in your pocket. And when you know that you can be an asset, that means that you can now be active in the asset motion of things. And that's what I just want our people to understand. Like, we are assets.
Yeah.
You can create assets. With those funds, buy assets.
Yeah.
Let's get assy, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Yeah, I love that. And again, when you think about the approach that you take from a cares perspective, right? The fact that you care about people, you want people to become their better selves, is how you were able to increase your value to become even more of an asset, right? We, you know, looking at it, and I'm gonna come back to you, Jewell, from that cares perspective, right? Because again, the thing that I love, you're in a position where, you know, and we joked about this, right? To the aspect of, you know, black people look at Barack Obama like he's supposed to save the whole world.
Man, come on.
Right?
Yeah.
But people don't really understand how on a more direct level, change starts at home, right? So being an official where you really have opportunity to make change, right? What are some things that you would say from your personality, maybe a couple of characteristics about yourself that have really helped you to become successful in this? And then also looking at what are ways that other people out there can really help to do systemic change where they are?
You know, I would probably dial back to the things I learned just being young. You know, loyalty is always important. Being calculated, good discernment, definitely. You know, because the game is it can get so murky sometimes. But I think what you said was important is, and what some of them have said as well about, you know, giving somebody enough from you that they can take something within themselves and, you know, and grow that and cultivate it.
Right.
Right. You know, because I think people are incubators. And so whatever we can give them, they can hopefully take that and let it grow. And I think, you know, what Sean was talking about a second ago, I read a quote earlier today, and it talked about, like, education helps us turn mirrors into windows. And so I think that's in my position. I mean, it's a lot that we can do to legislate. It's a lot that we can do to advocate for people. But the moment that we can give people enough access and exposure to where they can have a direct line to the resources or to the powers that be themselves, I think that's when we start winning. And it's all about education, not necessarily academia. I know we were talking about education and academics earlier, but just giving the people the black print, you know, I would say.
I like that.
Since we black.
Yeah, right.
That's a bar.
Yeah, that's a bar.
Just to, I would say, we could give people the black print of how we do different things, and they can take that and make it beneficial for themselves. I mean, that's what I try to do.
Yeah.
You know, no matter if it's lobbyists I'm talking to trying to raise money, if it's interest groups I'm talking to trying to get different issues worked out, colleagues I'm talking to, it's people back home, and I'm getting direct contacts, you know, the cell phone numbers, I'm getting the addresses, and I'm saying, hey, this you need to go holler at directly, because I know we got term limits on the state level. I'm here for about 6 years in the state house. After that, I'm transitioning out. So my biggest focus is succession plan to getting somebody in that position, and then giving everybody else access directly to whatever I have access to.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key right there. And sometimes we have to be willing to share those networks and those resources with the people that we serve, with the people that we're around, because that's what helps propel them to the next level.
Right. You bring a great point, man, because one thing that we struggle with as a people is this whole crab in a barrel mentality. And shout out Nipsey Hussle, right? Yeah. So Nipsey always talked about this thing, like that's what's eating us up, is because we're so focused on not understanding that it's a whole ocean out there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what I do and what you do and what you do and what you do, we can all get to it.
Oh yeah.
And not even cross each other over 100 times.
Right.
Yeah.
And we feel so limited. But now I wonder if that does come back to the aspect of where a lot of us come from. It's only one person that made it out. So I got to be the one. You know what I'm saying? That when I'm the one, sorry, you wasn't the one that made it. Like I was the one that made it. Like what's y'all thought around this whole aspect of individuality versus community? Because again, we talk about breaking barriers. Yeah. Me breaking a barrier by myself, I'm gonna get to the finish line and be there like, yo, cool, and I can't celebrate with nobody.
You know what, bro? I'm gonna say this one, man. I feel like the secret is real. So let's talk. Well, you're talking about a pure secret, and the secret is like, man, when you help people, you go much further. Yeah. So I'm in the business of help. Right. So let's say at first, I'll tell you what happened with my mindset. I put out a book, and it was like when it wasn't as popular for people to put out books. I started looking at people putting out books like, what should I do? You know what I'm saying? What should I do, right? But it got to the point where I understood, like, okay, even if this person admires you and wants to do that, well, your goal is to make sure that if you put yourself in position and say, I've conquered this area, I'm going to move to the publishing level now and say, I can help you do that. Right. And now when I help you do that, I'm actually want to brag about you, and you doing great actually helps my business. So now it's a matter of how many other people can I help dominate, right? Because when we actually have the foresight to say, now let's say someone wants to publish a company. Great, I'm going to teach people how to do publishing companies. Now that's a part of my business model. Whatever you want to do, if you want to copy me, you ain't got to copy me, pay me, I'm going to teach you how to go kill it just like me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And your business will grow so much more if you have that mindset, right? So bragging about people and not just yourself, that right there is called a testimonial for your business. You got to shift your mind. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's kind of like what happens when you spread love. The Bible says, Luke 6:38, give it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together till it till it overflows. Men shall give into your bosom to a measure that you meet. So look, give. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's kind of like this is an old principle that people missed all the time. And when we actually have mobs of people that are working together, that's more impact, that's more income, it's more fun, you know what I'm saying? And it's more protection. So at the end of the day, like, why do people run the gangs? They want to be protected. We got a gang of winners, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's right there. And that's what the basis is, like loyalty, winning, expansion, domination, that community. That's what it's about. Facebook can't be Facebook without the people. A church can't get a whole pool. A church can't even thrive without the people to pay the offering. It's all about expansion beyond oneself. Anybody trying to be an island by themselves, man,
it don't work.
It ain't gonna work.
It don't work. Even just to piggyback over what he's saying, it comes down to knowing that dimming somebody else's light can make yours shine brighter.
Come on, man.
It's like it just doesn't work. Like, you know, a business can't be a business without people.
Man.
Like, people build businesses.
Word.
It comes down to that. Like, you know, like with me, I wrote a book, right? But my book has nothing to absolutely do with me. Because I'm talking about essentials of life, validation, discernment, energy, peace, things that different emotions that I've gone through in my life. Like what got me here.
Right.
Like I've seeked validation before. Yeah. We all have. Right. Because Instagram is validation. somebody, like people, you buy a car, you want to post it on social media for a whole bunch of people that you don't know to say congrats.
Right.
You know, because the thing about it, I don't clap for you for doing what you're expected to do. I clap for you for exceeding the expectations. Because you're expected to, as an adult, to move out at some point. That's an expectation. Now, you move out, you buy more properties, you go back in the hood and you buy that block, and that block that you claim, and you put the old lady over there, you clean up your street, like what JEWELL Jones, what these guys do, you do that, then I clap for you. Because you moved out and you didn't forget where you came from, and you still went back and you got something done there. You know, so like that's what I see. Like these things are the things but we move as a unit. Call me on the phone. Let me help you come clean your street. That's community. That's us working together. That's what it is. Like, because the culture cannot move forward. If I need help achieving a goal, I have my brothers. Like, it's an open line. It's an open line of communication.
We ain't even trying to compete.
And that's the thing. Like, I've had lunch. I've had lunch with him. We communicate. It's been times we just be on the phone early in the morning, just talking, fellowshipping. I tell people I can't do business with you if I can't fellowship with you.
No, absolutely, absolutely. We gotta break bread.
Because like people come out of the woodworks, you ain't seen them in 10 years. Hey, bro, let's work. Let's work. No, let's fellowship. Let's talk about where you've been in the last 10 years, bro. You know?
It's great. It's great.
Because we have to make it make sense when it comes down to us working together, like as a unit. Because we look good as a unit already.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. I came in here, and the first thing that came to my mind was to brag about you if they didn't know you well enough. You know what I mean? To brag about you if they didn't know you well enough. You know what I mean? And it was like, I also came in here, I looked around, because when we finish, I gotta go buy something. You know what I'm saying?
But the one thing he said is like, it's just the growth, right? You know, it's something they both said when they came in here. When he was like, bro, you did a lot of work since the last time I was in here. You know? Because that makes me happy. That's like saying, bro, I'm so proud of you, bro. Because you know why? I see how far you came since the last. He came the first week I opened. Supported. He saw how much it wasn't finished. I opened, I wasn't finished. You know, like JEWELL he's been to the other spot a few times, right? And then like he came here, he's like, oh yeah, this is it, bro.
No discounts, no discounts.
This is it, bro.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna get there too.
He like this is it, bro. But that's all I told him. Every time I see him, I tell him like, bro, I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you. But that's the thing. Iron sharpens iron. I'm on his head. I'm not. I don't have too much pride to be on your head. That's the thing. We don't accountability. Accountability is something that we should hold each other accountable for. When you see your brother not doing what you expect him to do, bro, I'm waiting on you. It doesn't have. It's not a form of disrespect. You know, you can tell him. When you look at him, he knows. You know? But the thing about it is, like, I've seen him like countless times before that. You know, it's just more so. It's like, hey, bro, whenever you have time, whenever you can swing this way, come on. But when he does swing this way, sometimes it's all about the fellowship. That's all I'm looking for. Come see what your brother doing and tell me, hey, bro, you proud of me. Because I'd rather you tell me behind closed doors than you tell me on Instagram.
And you know, if I can interject, I seen something today on Instagram, of course. I know we talk about social media, but Busta Rhymes was talking about how one of his mentors passed. Chris Lighty. Right. And he talked about how, you know, from 89 they was together, and he didn't come to a studio session to see him to 2011. He said the day that he came, he passed away shortly after that. But he talked about, you know, Chris was going through a whole bunch of stuff as well. So many times, you know, with you got a whole movement. Like in different states, I'm sure you got people in different countries trying to replicate what you got on. You've been all over the place. You doing all kind of crazy stuff on Prime. I mean, out here in Royal Oak in the burbs, you know, it's like it's so much of stuff that we go through. Now we have to learn how to come together, because I mean, we really can't. We really can't survive without each other. And sometimes you almost get to a point where the stuff that you're going through, from where we come from, sometimes we don't even want to talk about it. Like some of the shortcomings or some of those emotions that you have, because we feel like, you know, because of that mentality of the crab in the barrel, whatever else, somebody might be out to get us. They might use that against us. But we got to learn how to build that community, because if we don't have it,
I think too, we got to learn how to be vulnerable vulnerability is not a bad thing,
not a
right?
bad
But
thing.
it comes back to your point of like, we don't know how to be supported.
Right.
To where if I'm vulnerable, you're gonna look at me like, nigga, what's up? Like, get your,
Yeah,
let's go. Like,
and
you know
that's,
what I'm saying?
and that's
It's
why I
like,
formed the Mental Wellness Mondays
Right.
last year, and I had you on it, you know, and those are the things that I'm talking about because I battled through mental health, and that's something this is my first time actually, you know, talking about that, right? You know, I went through a form of depression. I went through a form of like I was at my lowest, and not saying that I was physically okay, but I was mentally broken down, where I didn't know where to turn, I didn't know what to do, and the world was changing as I know it. As an entrepreneur, the first thing you're thinking about is your business. These are like what is the future of the business? What is the future of the goal the vision, the goal that you had in mind? Unemployment is going up. So many things are happening. Okay, you're financially stable, but how far can this go, right? And I think everybody had that thought at some point because we all have businesses, and I think that was the first thing is like, oh, we can't leave the house, we can't go nowhere, you can't tour, you can't make no money, like you can't make money. Okay, yeah, the book is selling, but regardless, like at some point it's gonna get stagnant because it comes down to they want to read more. They want more. So to get that, you have to move around, do something to happen. Something has to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a state where I know I'm not the only one going through this. Get beside yourself.
Yeah.
Help somebody.
Yeah.
So I try to form something to talk to my brothers because they didn't know. They thought that I was interviewing them, but they were interviewing me.
Helping you get it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His interview helped me more than he don't understand. Like I just wanted to talk.
Yeah.
I wanted to fellowship, but nobody knew I looked okay on camera.
Right.
But I was hurting.
Yeah.
You know what, man? And thanks so much for sharing that, bro. I
absolutely.
appreciate that love because I feel like mental health is something that like it's becoming a topic that we openly express. And I would say that like hating is a mental health issue.
Yeah.
Right. So when people hate on people, man, that's a reflection of themselves. That's a reflection of their own lack or their own misery, right?
Yeah.
And so it's something where, man, I think that it's so important with that form of mental health, that mental issue, that mental health issue, that we have to make sure that like we got to show haters how to love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to love on people in general because that's when the natural organic conversations about whatever people are going through or whatever else are more apparent and open. I remember, man, like it's something that some of my brothers from New York, man, we would actually, we used to actually like, we would serve in this church that we went to, and it would be like, we all were like these vision keepers. And we had this thing where like, it was like 30 of us and there was a Chipotle across the street. Now lunchtime, what brothers would do is run across the street to hurry up and pay the bill for everybody else, right? And it was like stuff that it was like, this is foreign. I'm from the D, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really used to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or brothers would do stuff like just, they would know what a brother like, and then like, let's say I compliment a brother on the tie, like, man, your tie's dope. The next week, the brother has slipped that tie in my bag. I say, yo, man, like, nigga think I'm cute or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hello, what's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? But I was literally in the process of being shown how to love like other men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like loving other men is like the actions of saying like, I come in here, and like I said, I want to brag about you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy this from you. Like at the end of the day, when you show that type of love, like you got to teach people that process. If we saying like, man, there's too many crabs in the barrel, I'm not really worried about what other people doing. I'm concerned with the energy I'm putting out. You know what I'm saying? So wherever I'm at, it's a whole bunch of love and the barrel don't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people gonna feel that in every room I walk into, regardless if you a hater or not, you're gonna be looking at me sideways like, did that nigga think I'm cute or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't, it ain't even about that, but it's about the love. You gotta teach people how to do it.
Yeah.
Coming from a Nipsey standpoint, bro, like when we even talk about entrepreneurship, man, like, all money in, bro. It's kind of like
right.
That black
we
dollar.
we can all win so much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when people understand that like me winning does not hurt you, but
Right.
it literally
It helps.
helps you.
Yeah.
You can't unsee this.
Yeah. That's
You know what I'm saying? Man, when I was a kid, my oldest brother, man, he got life in prison right now, and he was, he whatever it is, he's considered a Detroit legend. And the crazy thing is, I would see my brother and everything that he had, I wanted it, not from a hater perspective, but I was inspired.
Motivated.
He had that presidential rollie.
Wanted.
Ooh, I said, I gotta have that presidential rollie.
Yeah.
It sits on my wrist.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? He had like the Gucci's, he had this, he had that, the cars he drove,
Now
everything he
you got
had.
one.
I cannot unsee this. You know what I'm saying? Not from a hate perspective, but you just expanded my ability to dream, bro. You know what I mean? And that's what we need, man. We gotta expand brothers' ability to dream.
And
at all
let's
times.
just say you got that present. You got that present you always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, like, it's trophies.
Mm-hmm.
You got one because you wanted one. Not because you had to, you just wanted one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that it comes down to the same thing where we with everything that we go through as human beings, that fellowship, that togetherness that we have is what keeps us together. We motivate each other. And when you say hating is a disease, it's a mental issue. And mental health is a gift, right? It's a gift, because with me, like last year, I thought it was something that was wrong with me, right? Mm-hmm. But I just realized it was a gift. I had to tap into myself to understand all my emotions, to be tapped in, mind, body, and soul, right?
Yeah.
To be intact, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're walking around as physical bodies, but our mind, body, and soul are not connected. And that's one time somebody hates you for no reason. They don't understand the reason why they don't like you.
Right.
And you don't care that they don't like you, but they have to understand that, right? And it comes down to us also understanding that we can teach people how to love. It's not to drag their hand to teach them how to love, but we can teach people how to love by, you hate me, I love you. You love me, I love you. So it comes down to, because I was telling Sean earlier, it's like there are different forms of hate. A lot of people hate you with a compliment. Hey, bro, I see you, man. Hey, man, don't forget about me, dog. That's a hating word.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, I'm gonna pull up to your little event. You know what I'm saying? that's a
Your little event,
bro. That's a hating. That's a hating.
Yeah.
And you have to be aware of it. Mind, body, and soul. You have to be intact. I was telling Joey Zaza. I was telling him, I say, hey, bro, I can't afford to sit at a table with snakes. I have a lot to lose. I could have did that when I was 24, because I was more. I was ready, or whatever. Like, I'm ready. I'm about that life, like whatever. I'll sit at the table with snakes, regardless. I know they don't like me. I sit there, like,
Right.
I have a lot to lose now, right? Because we're in Detroit. Like a lot of times you sit with people that don't like you, right? Their hate grows more for you. Sometimes there's some people you just can't save.
Right.
And you have to be okay with that. You have to, like, understand that, right? But what you can do is pray for them.
I like what you're talking about, because it's the nature of what you wanted to talk about, like the obstacles, right?
Yeah.
Because even when you can be at a level of success to other people, and then still be going through stuff.
Yeah.
That's a alley-oop.
Because definitely.
And the thing too, I think one of the things, and again, I'm not an expert when it comes to that, but I think one of the things that has helped me along the way is to reside in positivity. Right? I am one of those people, that negative energy, you cannot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get it, and my wife, she hates this. Because to an extent, when when we're talking about some things, and she'll say, and I'll be like, she's like, you don't got nothing to say about it? I said, babe, that's negative energy.
You know why he laughed? That's him. That's him all the way. You cannot break this down.
She'll joke. She's like, but she knows that about me, right? She knows that's why. Yeah. She's like, oh, gee, I forgot. Like you. Like, I'm not gonna dwell in the negativity. Yeah, man. I'm gonna give you my input. But I'm gonna think, all right, what's the positivity around it? Yeah, right? Man. Because that and sitting in that, for me, like, that helps me. That's where I draw new ideas from positive energy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why I draw new concepts from positive energy. Yeah. Right? That's where I'm able to, stay up hours working on, branding elements and those kind of things, because positive energy. If I'm thinking negative, I'm gonna soak in it, I'm gonna sit in it, and it's gonna fester, and it's gonna sit and marinate like something on the stove. Yeah. Versus, okay, if I'm just around this positivity, let that go and live out and fresh. You know, there are things you do have to close one page before you can go to the next page.
Yeah,
Right?
like my mom always tells me like this, like she tells me this almost every other time, because I have conversations where I'm like, man, like blah blah blah, you know, talks about what I'm going through. She's like, you know, if you can find a positive mindset in a negative situation, you're not being naive, you're a leader.
Right.
And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
never thought about it.
Yeah.
Like
I seen you tweet that before, bro.
Like she always reminds me.
That's a bar, bro.
Like like I
a
have
word
that.
right there.
Like that is such a reminder for me that I have it in my home. Like literally right there, because it's something I look at. It's like, you know, everybody has something they do when they don't want to get out of hand or whatever. Like I just have to look at that. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna chill.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I'm gonna do this. So we're getting closer to, you know, the end of Dapper Conversations. Again, you guys are here, Dapper Conversations in the Motor City, in Detroit, D-Town, as they might say up here. I'm gonna ask you each a question just to kind of get a little bit more insight for you all achieving great things in your own lanes. And I'll start with you, Jewell. What is probably your top goal or top priority right now?
Right now, well, I'd probably say, like I said earlier, we got term limits here in Michigan, so I'm coming to the end of my term at the end of next year. And so my biggest focus right now is succession planning. Trying to make sure we get the next person. You know, the district is changing now, so there's going to be a lot of different details coming out close to the end of the year, but I want to make sure that we have someone groomed and tailored for my office. You know, Inkster, where I'm from, we haven't had a representative since the 60s. In that district, and so I was the first one since the 60s to represent.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that we can hold on to that. And not only that, I'm trying to figure out that whole pipeline from the city council to the legislature, you know, in the county, and some other positions that are even appointed on different boards and commissions. How can we pad those spots with people right now? So that's my biggest focus. I've been there, made it there. So now, like he was talking about, he went from the author to the publishing to now he can teach people how to make published companies. That's the same route and agenda I'm on now. It's like now, since someone built me, how can I build somebody else?
Yeah.
Don't forget about them. Yeah, for sure. What about you, Don?
I think my main focus right now is expansion. When it comes down to like retail business, you can't just stop at one location. You have to expand, because that's how you reach the world. Like I told you earlier when you came in, I said, what we doing? We're doing God's work.
Yeah.
All God's work. And that's the reason why we win. Because we're helping. While we're working, we're helping. And so when I meet new people, I tell them I'm here to help, not hurt you.
Yeah.
You have to open up that chain of communication with them, let them know that you're not a hater. I'm here to help.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm here to help. I have kids that come into the store, ask me, how can I get started? I say, start.
Right. Bars.
Word up. Yeah. So I would say, man, like, right now I'm focused on adopting 100 schools across the country. Ooh. And doing that, the way I do that is through book sales. So every 250 books I sell, I adopt another school.
Okay.
And when we adopt a school, we give them 25 books, curriculum to the book, create a young author, and then I do a tie-tying ceremony with those 25 young men that get the books too. The goal is to make sure we can expand literacy with people that look like those young people, right? So in doing that, that's my role that I want to do as far as expanding that. And one of the things I want to do is not only pour my literature in those schools, but pour the literature of authors that look like me in those schools. So it's adopting 100 schools, but also creating another 1,000 authors.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Now the wrap-up question I got for everybody, and you know, with thinking about, again, just pouring in to yourself, and I'm gonna start with you, Sean, and I'm gonna come back this way. What's the best piece of advice that anybody has ever given you that you now utilize maybe in day-to-day, or something that I think you got to come up with another one, because you already gave me one, but you got to come up with another one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given that has helped mold you to who you are today?
Yeah, man, and I can name 50, but I'll give one, right? And I'll say that, man, one of my billionaire mentors told me, he said...
just sneak that in there.
Oh, yeah.
What my billionaire mentors?
It was smooth. It was smooth.
Yeah.
Like get in the room. You got to get in the room,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But what he told me, he said, like, you know, I was asking him, like, secrets to success. And he said, one of the secrets to success, if you want to be successful, become an expert of one thing.
Yeah.
And he said, with that, you'll be successful. I've been able to leverage that concept because what you do, it's not about doing everything. It's about going deep with what you do.
Right.
And that's that all money in concept that Nipsey talks about. You can be very impactful, deadly, and just inspiring in a particular space that you dominate. Yeah, be an expert.
I love it. Be an expert.
The best advice really that I got was new levels, new devils. Just always be aware of that. The more you climb up, the more obstacles you're gonna face, and always be ready. Always be prayed up, be ready, because we're in a stage where like all these things that are going on right now, they're not just coincidental. Like you know, sometimes these are spiritual. These are things that we've never seen before. We've never gone through a pandemic before. Like our parents never experienced this. We're all experiencing this together. So new levels, new devils. More money, more problem.
Right.
Like it goes hand in hand. So just always be ready.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I'm always looking out for. Like the more I expand, the more bills, the more problems. But be ready.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for it. The minute that I got my LLC, you know, paying, I was ready. So that's just something I just keep in the back of my head. Every day I wake up, I say my prayers and I attack the day. And I'm always ready for whatever comes after that. So
Love it. New levels, new devils. Be ready for it.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like every single minute, you know, I done learned some quotes today since I've been sitting back chilling, but something I share for sure. I was even just yesterday I was sitting down with Horatio Williams. Y'all might know him.
Big OG.
Staple in our community from the sports world to just being present, you know, especially for our young people doing a lot of great things. And he told me, he's like his mom told him when he was younger, like the girl that likes you, because we were talking about dealing with people that come into, we were specifically talking about education and people that come into Detroit and burn a lot of connections of people that actually had the inroads into the neighborhoods and into you know, to the different organizations that's been around for years. And it doesn't conflict with one of my principles is that, you know, God said we're supposed to love everybody, because we're not talking about love right now. We're talking about liking people and dealing with people and stuff like that. And so it kind of just awakened this new perspective for me that I think so many times we want to build with everybody. We want to help everybody out. But we have to learn how to help people out, how to build with people. Right. And so I think it just really just got me thinking yesterday about don't be so in a rush to support a particular interest or idea or put somebody on a certain platform, but make it all make sense, you know. And so it was real simple, and it just you know, it just got me thinking about a whole bunch of different things, like the girl that likes you. Right.
It's a two-way street.
You don't spend a whole bunch of time wasting running after people that don't like you.
At all.
Get to do it.
You know what's funny about that? You made me think about this. Like everybody can't go.
Oh yeah.
Everybody can be inspired. You don't have to be the one to help everybody.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's right.
One thing that I live by, and again, if y'all have seen this show, you're gonna see me say it because it resonates, and some people haven't seen me say it before. My favorite motto in life is "You are the best version of you ever created."
Yeah.
And now the caveat to that is you're the only version of you ever created. So if you understand that what you do and the way you do it is what makes you who you are and will make you successful when you focus on being you, that's when you start living your best life.
That's right.
Right? That's when all the noise that's going on, it goes away because I don't care. I don't care what so-and-so did to do this and that. That's not my path. So if I spend so much time walking on your path, I'm going to kick all the rocks that's on your path. Versus if I'm staying true to who I am, and I'm focusing on being me and developing and getting better by 1% every day or every week or every month, however people quantify it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm steady getting better, then I'm going to get to where my goal or my end result should be. Versus if I spend so much time trying to be Jewel, if I spend so much time trying to be the Don, if I spend so much time trying to get a billionaire mentor, you know what I'm saying? I might lose sight of what I'm here to do which comes back to impacting and changing and helping people just be more positive, right? And so you are the best version of you ever created. Again, I can never say that too much because again, that literally changed my life as a teenager. And catching that as a teenager from a self-esteem issues to then being like, okay, hold on, stop. You're not 6'3", you can't dunk the ball like that. Stop. You know what I'm saying? You are very educated. Focus on thriving in that realm. You handsome, bro. The girls gonna come. And they came. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like just those things of settling in on who you are and being successful within yourselves. Yeah. And then everything after that, I feel like just falls in line because now you're serving your purpose. You're not serving everybody else's purpose. So be the best version of you ever created. That's the mic drop that I'm going to do here on Dapper Conversations. Again, I appreciate you, Shawn. I appreciate you, Ledon. And I appreciate you, Jewell, for joining us here on Dapper Conversations. This will be something that when you watch it at the end of it, because there's a whole bunch of Detroit flavor, like, again, because I'm able to go to other cities and hear it differently, like, y'all all sound like y'all from here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to end it out, you know what I'm saying? I guess you're welcome, but you can also leave by saying, what up, though? All right, y'all.
What up, though?